like them having monkeypox.
Yo, he did leave him off.
Who? Yeah, the top 10. Yeah.
Who you talking about?
You talk about the Bulls top 10? Did I put that on there? No. Did I put that on there for us to talk about?
I'm talking about NBA, the NBA top 10.
Oh, who do you leave off the NBA top 10?
No, he can't. He couldn't have done that. Well, he said last 50 years. Let's think. Last 50 years.
Kid. Anybody, unless you going old school, anybody you can think of has played in the last 50 years. Like Kareem played till the 70s. What is 50 years? What's the cutoff of 50 years now? 72, right?
72. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see why he did that.
Who'd he leave off?
Jerry West.
Jerry West won his finals in the 70s.
So did Wilt, and Wilt's not on the list either.
I got some questions.
The caveat is he said top 50 NBA players of the last 50 years. So he has a case. But Jerry West last season, even though he was on his way out, was still 20 points a game.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I can't say what he did and what he didn't do. But when did the Lakers win that NBA Finals? They won before Magic got there, so what was it, 70? It was 72, wasn't it? And they won the 72 Finals?
Yeah, 1972 NBA champion.
So that
he was a 1971-1972 All-Star MVP.
So,
which is saying a lot considering who else played in that.
So you left him off. You left off the dude that won his first ring that year.
And he was a 1971 assist champ. 1971-1972 assist champ. I mean, that's tough.
It's a tough case to make.
I really don't know what to say.
Let's see.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's Nick Wright, so I don't take that much solace in anything he does.
You know what? I guess I have much respect for this list because he, at one point, used to leave Kobe out of the top 10, and off behind Larry Bird and Hakeem, he has him at 6.
You definitely Kobe's definitely.
I respect that list.
Kobe's definitely supposed to be above all of them mugs, bro. Bird. I look at when mugs come to me with that argument that Larry Bird is better than Kobe. I just look at him and I say, you talking about the dude that Michael Jordan cooked a lot?
But Mike didn't beat him.
He didn't beat him, but he did cook him.
He cooked Larry every time he saw Larry.
This is. I mean,
listen. Larry every single time.
A lot of Hall of Famers on that team. So wait, who's 2?
He's gonna put Kareem and LeBron above Mike.
Oh, he ain't got Kareem on here yet. Okay. I mean, this is the wild part, right? I guess if you see, this is what pisses me off. Right? Because here's the thing: you're not looking at the skill set of players. If we talking about skill set, if we talking about that's where I'm confused on it, right? Because if we talking about accomplishments, Mike should be above LeBron. But if we're talking about the skill set of players,
Mike should be above LeBron.
Well, I'll say LeBron, maybe you can make an argument, has more skill than Mike did. LeBron can score everywhere. LeBron can handle the ball. LeBron can pass well, blah, 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 whatever you want to do, however you want. But I said, here's the thing, an argument, right? But here's my problem.
He doesn't have an argument for it.
Well, I can see areas where Brian
more skilled than Mike.
I can see areas where Brian is more skilled than Mike.
The argument to be more skilled than Mike is Kobe.
I can see areas where he's more skilled than Mike. He's definitely a more skilled passer than Mike is. He's absolutely a more skilled passer than Mike is.
That's about it. Other than that,
I mean, I could say that
you're not basing anything else off of his skill. You're basing it off of his size.
But even
his size, he's 6'9". He's supposed to be. He's 6'9" and nearly 50 pounds No, he's 70 pounds heavier than Mike's peak.
But even with that, I'm not saying he's better than him. But here's my thing, right? Are we basing it off skill or are we basing it off accomplishment? Because for me, right, you got an argument based off skill, but Patrick Ewing is way too high on your list. And if you're talking about just skill, where's DeMarcus Cousins? I don't care if he was in Sacramento or not. DeMarcus Cousins is a way better center than Patrick Ewing was.
Nah.
Yeah.
I can't give you
100%. DeMarcus Cousins would murk Pat Ewing.
I would rather you have said Embiid.
DeMarcus Cousins would murk Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing is up there because he played for New York. I don't care what nobody say. Patrick Ewing was not I can't say that. Patrick Ewing was a very good basketball player, right? But we hold Patrick Ewing in this high regard like he was this crazy, amazing big man, and Patrick Ewing wasn't even the best big man in his NBA.
Yeah, he definitely went just solely based off 50 years. And he's right on this one, too, because he left Oscar off.
Yeah, he went off 50. It's still a tough. Hey, listen. It's still a tough argument for Jerry West.
Right? It's definitely a tough argument for Jerry West.
Math
Jerry
right
West
though? Hold up, 22, 12, 02, 92, 82, 72. No, our math right. I had to make sure the math was right. I was like, is 82 50 years?
Hey, this is content, man. Hit record.
Bro, we've been recording the whole time. What you talking about?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Well, wait, listen.
Whole time, I'm gonna probably just clip this as a standalone. You did. Yo.
All right, bet.
Just breaking down Nick Wright stuff.
How do you feel about George Gervin being on there, though?
I'm not mad at that. Iceman? Why would I be mad at the Iceman being on there? Iceman was Russell Westbrook before Russell.
Nah, that's not. You talking about Big O. That's Oscar Robertson.
Oh, I'm tweaking. Jesus, I'm tweaking. Iceman, yeah. I'm tweaking.
Iceman was partly Jordan before Jordan.
Yeah.
4-time scoring champ. All-Star MVP in the 1979, 1980.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Iceman being on there. When you talk about this, the thing, right? When you break it down, I'm also not. I respect. This is so weird to me, bro. But I respect him for putting Bernard King on this list, and I think Bernard King should be higher. But that's a whole different thing.
He still holds the scoring champ. I mean, all the major scoring stats on the Knicks, correct?
Melo might have him now. Melo might have him. I don't know.
Luka Doncic being 20. Oof.
I'm not mad at that either.
So soon?
I
want to know why I say that?
If we talking about total, you can't. I mean, that's why I don't know what this is. If it's skill set or accomplishment, that's why I don't know what this is. Because if it's accomplishment,
skill set, because it ain't accomplishment with Luka.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what this list is. It's like part of it is skill set, part of it is accomplishment. Because there's no way you can say LeBron James is more accomplished than Michael Jordan.
I would say this. I can't. I still argue with the skill set thing too. Luka, 28 points a game.
Also, why's he got Michael Jordan shooting guard, small forward?
Mike was drafted as a 2-guard and played a small forward for a season.
Mike played everything for a season. Mike was the only dude touching a basketball for a season.
He played small forward.
What's crazy is people don't remember that that's what Kobe was drafted at. Kobe was drafted as a 3. And he moved him to a 2.
That's because it's also like Kobe's is different as well. Because Kobe was playing in high school. Of course, he was the 3. He was one of the 3 tallest dudes on the team.
To be a 3.
That's not how it worked in NBA, baby.
To be a 3 at 6'6".
Yeah, but what they drafted him as, they drafting you as your position that you played in whatever the thing before was, and then they'll move you around. So when he got drafted, it probably said SF on there, but it's because he played small forward because he was the biggest dude one of the 3 biggest dudes on the team.
No, he made the All-Star game as a small forward. Second season. But back to this Luka Doncic thing. I get why, because I do agree. He's probably the most skilled player we've seen come in and take the league by storm at such a young age since Mike and since a young LeBron. But if you're just basing off of like these 4 years, which I hope that he's not doing, I can make a case for a lot of other legends on this particular list. Like I can make a case for Mark Aguirre, who I'm going to always bring up because he doesn't get enough love. 18 points his first season, goes off of 24, 29, 25, 22, 25. Like he was doing his thing solo pretty much.
I don't think so.
Did he send you the list? I'm asking AD, did AD have the list? I think you just sent it to me. That's all good.
I thought I put it in the group chat. My fault.
Oh, you good. See, that's, again, what are we basing it off of? Because if it's off skill, it can't be off skill. It can't be off skill. So he's basically saying...
Bill Walton, to me, is too high. I know that they herald him as like one of the most electrifying people they've ever seen, but I mean, come on. It was 2 seasons.
Hey, bro. Wait, you ain't went back and watched that Bill Walton tape? Hey, Bill was getting busy. I ain't even gonna snap with you. I had to go back and look because I was like, yo, who is this dude? I get like the 2 seasons thing, but then you look at his stats and you like, bro, his stats are not like jumping off the page at me. How's he getting an MVP here? Hey, Bill was getting busy. I give him credit.
I'm not mad at where he's at.
I ain't mad at where Bill's at. Anthony Davis, I'm impressed, is even on the list because
Anthony Davis is one of the weirdest centers in NBA history.
That's not even a center, really.
Reason being, he's one of they put out a list when you look at block and steals for centers. He's, I think, top 5 on that list. When you do the combined average, he averages like 3.8 or 3.6 blocks and steals per game.
Oh, yeah.
Which for his position is really freaking good.
Yeah.
He's also, I didn't realize he was a block champion as many times as he was. Did not know that. Like, I knew he was good.
We don't hype up those awards no more.
Write them stats.
He's a 3-time block champ. He's a 4-time.
We don't hype up none of those awards no more. Like, who's the scoring champ this year?
This year was Jokic. Was it Embiid? It was a center.
I might be wrong. I don't think so. I might be wrong. I'm almost certain it was LeBron again.
Nah, LeBron wasn't scoring champ.
Let me see. Or maybe it was. No, you might be right. Maybe it was Embiid. I think it was LeBron last year or something like that. But again, right? Like we're thinking about it. We're struggling.
No, it's Embiid.
It was Embiid this year. Okay. Like, hey, listen, we don't hype these awards up no more. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they don't put in
these are awards. These are awards to create arguments at the end of the year. Like, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't know we still did block champ.
Yeah, you do steal champ, block champ, rebound champ, everything.
Bro. I ain't heard that award get awarded in years. Who's the block champ this year? What they just been giving it to Gobert for the last 10 years and not even asking no questions on it? Like,
no, it's just about whoever led at the end of the season. This one I think
even that's weird. I don't think it is, bro. I don't think that's how they do it.
I think was
because
Jaren Jackson was blocks
because Trae Young should have won scoring champ.
What is that?
Trae Young scored the most points in the NBA this season.
So is it points per game or points
overall?
No,
it's your average.
Okay, it's your average.
It's your average.
But I don't think Joel Embiid. I don't think Joel Embiid.
I don't know how that.
Joel Embiid didn't lead the NBA in points per game this year. I don't think
he did at 30.7. He's the first big man since Shaq to do it.
I thought they voted on that too, because I remember looking at that and being like, bro, how is Trae Young not the scoring champ? He scored the most points. Like, that should be an easy one. That should be a layup. The dude that did the most of this thing should get the award for this thing. No, Giannis led the NBA in scoring this year. 31.7 points per game. And Luka was right behind him.
Hold on.
That's why I said, bro, like, I don't know, like, unless that's the wrong year. Embiid ain't even top 5. Oh, that's playoffs. That's playoffs.
I was about to say that list is wrong.
That's playoffs. No, it's playoffs. It's playoffs.
I was going to say, hold on, dog. What are you talking about?
Because our show was like, I'm like, hold on. Now Embiid ain't even top 5 in this mug.
What are we even talking about here, dog? I was about to have a whole fit. Say, is this the CERN thing coming into play? What is happening here, my boy?
That's postseason. Who led NBA in scoring? Why you just give me the postseason? Hold up. Let me go to StatMuse. StatMuse be on it. I ain't going to lie to you. StatMuse be the one that be having everything. We probably should start the actual show.
I thought you started the show.
Oh, it's been recorded. I ain't did no kind of start for the show. I'm just finna do this as a standalone basketball clip. This ain't got nothing to do with the show today. I'll probably put it in there at the end, though. I'll probably just clip it and move it around. Let me check StatMuse. Hold up. Who led the NBA in scoring in the 2021-2022 regular season?
Yeah, Embiid.
All right, Joel Embiid. Yeah, okay. So they doing that by average. Giannis 29.9.
Hey, what's crazy to me is the guy who was almost in the G League led the league in free throw percentage.
Why is that crazy?
Jordan Poole.
Oh.
Why is that crazy?
Because he got to the line quite a bit to even be considered for this.
Hey, listen, you want to stay in the NBA, you better be great at something.
Right. He had a higher free throw percentage than Steph Curry by 0.2.
Hey, we finna start the show like they do on the 85 South show. What is good, everybody? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We started off with some basketball out of nowhere. Y'all got the pre-show in this month. Don't even worry about it. But on today's docket, what are we talking about today, boys? Oh, we got the weekend review. Got to break down what happened over the weekend that was interesting to us. Then got to talk about some Bears conversation. Bears still working out offensive linemen out here, trying to get Justin Fields some more help. Does that mean some concerns for some of the guys that we have at the number 1 spots right now, or just looking for some more depth? Training camp's getting started. We got a lot of stuff to get to. All that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Live. Let's go! What's good, y'all? Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. Shout out to the squad in the building. Y'all already know what's good with here. We got Mr. 2 Letters in the building. If you knew better, you do better. Say who better? Yep. Nobody, bro. And of course, the pettiest man alive is back in action. Mr. P Kid in the game. What's going on with you, fellas? How y'all feeling today?
What's going on?
Chilling. Catching big fish.
Feeling great.
We definitely had like a full hour conversation before the conversation, the pre-show to the conversation. Hey, let us know in the comments if we should do that more often. Y'all get the facts. You know what I mean? We walk around. I feel like it's not as fun without a DJ and like somebody rolling a blunt. Yeah, I mean, like I feel like that's how the 85 South show do it. It's like DC Young Fly rolling some weed over here. DJ got it busting in the corner. Oh, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. If y'all could, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Boys, the weekend is come and gone. We are here for another week.
Man.
What caught your eye from the weekend that really was on some? I ain't gonna lie to you, I got a good one. A couple of us might have the same one, but I got a good one from the weekend, bruh. Go ahead.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and lead off then, because
you want me to lead off? Hey, listen. Hold up, that's the wrong one. Steph ain't here. Get well soon, Steph. Hey, Jerry West about that action. Jerry West said, "Keep my heir's name out your mouth." Ooh. Jerry West calling out JJ Reddick. saying that what now listen, here's the thing. I love Jerry, right? I love how Jerry did it too, because Jerry gave him his flowers. He was like, he was a role player, he was a guy, he was good, he was excellent at what he did. Him being able to shoot so well kept him in the NBA, but he wasn't like me.
Oh wow.
He said I had an amazing vertical. He said I was an athlete.
Did you say all that? Hey,
you didn't watch the full interview?
I didn't watch the full interview.
Hold up, because I'm getting paid for this. So let me play you the full interview. We gonna cut this part out and come back on the other side, because YouTube ain't flagging me. No, Jerry was with the smoke, bro.
That's crazy.
I heard the one clip that said he's a smart kid, but what did he do to affect games? I saw that quote.
Hold up.
I didn't get a chance to listen to the thing. We don't have to cut anything. We keep it rolling. I go listen to it afterwards. But
no. Because your whole reaction off of it is gonna be completely different with the full clip. Jerry was about it. Hey, that's why I had to have you listen to it. Hey, that's why I had to have you listen to it, bro. Hey, Jerry is here for all smoke with it. He said, so basically, right, you wasn't gonna guard nobody that was elite in our era. What? Oh, okay. Like, nobody talks about that part of it, right? Like, all the dudes that talk, and here's the thing. I get JJ Reddick's, like, the analysts sometimes take it too far with, like, anybody in the 90s could dominate anybody now. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's a poor take. That's not doing the work, right? Like, if you don't think LeBron James would have also averaged 40 back then, just like Mike had the ability to, you're not really watching what LeBron's ability is on the court. But the dudes that are having that conversation are a lot of times the Ryan Hollands, the what's my man, Richard Jeffersons, the
people who were also role players.
The people who were role players. And it's not to say that you wouldn't have been better back then.
No, Ryan Hollins would have been trash as he was now and then.
Well,
Ryan Hollins is trash.
I think the thing is, right, JJ, here's the thing. JJ, if I'm not mistaken,
Ryan Hollins averaged 2 points, dog.
Who?
I'm sorry.
You said what?
Ryan Hollins averaged like 2 points, my G.
Well, no. Ryan Hollins is different. Ryan Hollins
earned more points holding LeBron's jock on that talk show than he ever did on the court.
Ryan Hollins is a whole different story. But the thing with like JJ, right?
Grabbed as many boards as he threw out opinions, they would have won something.
I think this.
Hey, listen, and he can carry on with that all he wants to.
Hey,
Kevin
bro.
Durant already said you should have grabbed some more rebounds. How about that? Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think this is the thing, though, right? Like the dudes like JJ. JJ would have had a spot on the team in the 90s. JJ would have probably been a better player on a team in the 80s. He probably would have been an elite player in the 70s. Like, I don't take that away from him. But it still would have been for his shooting ability. You wouldn't have been able to guard Jerry West. You wouldn't have been able to guard Oscar Robertson. You wouldn't have been able to guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, the names that we talk about from that era, and by the way, there's one of those names on every single team just about in that era. You wouldn't have been the dude guarding them.
How tall is Jerry West?
6'4", 6'5"?
Okay.
You know, the one thing I will say is this, and everyone, Draymond spoke to it. You know, people magnify the physicality of the old school game, and they do it in a way that makes it seem like, oh, it was so physical, you wouldn't have lasted. No, that's not true. However,
6'3" for Jerry West.
Was more physical to the fact that you're not getting them, you know, 3-point shots like you think you are.
Yeah.
And
that's
Jerry West would be the person to tell you about it, because guess what? I mean, he don't get nicknames like he got one of these crazy nicknames.
Hey, Jerry got ridiculous nicknames. Mr. Outside, Mr. Clutch, the logo.
The logo for one.
Hey, here's what's funny. If I'm not mistaken, right? Jerry West was still playing in the NBA when he became the logo, wasn't he?
Yes.
You know how much of a flex that is? Jerry, you ain't all that good. You're playing under me.
They called him Zeke from Cabin Creek.
Where's Cabin Creek?
That's a reference. When someone broke that down, it was a reference to how far out he would shoot. That they gave him an entirely name that had nothing to do with Jerry. Zeke from Cabin Creek. If I'm wrong, hey, get them old heads to do it, because I wasn't even a thought when that nickname came about. So do your best with that.
I think this is the thing, right? That's always interesting me. Even with Draymond's situation, right? Who was the old head that Draymond was going up at? That he was beefing with during the finals?
Now that I forgot.
I can't think of his name. Y'all let us know in the chat. But here's my thing with it, right?
Oh, hey, he was beefing with.
He basically said Draymond wouldn't have been able to do all that in our era. We'd have knocked him out, blah, 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 all this stuff. And Draymond came out and was like, dog, you're not that guy. Y'all wouldn't have done this, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't, I don't know if he realized he was saying that to a finals MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. I don't take nothing away from Draymond. Draymond absolutely in the older era would have been an elite level player. But
heck no.
When you're talking about that, I think Draymond defensive mindset would have elevated him. I do.
Draymond now is not considered an elite level player. He's considered essential for the Warriors.
Yeah, but Draymond was also an elite defender in today's NBA.
He's an elite defender. I give you that. But here's the one thing I will say.
But think about it, kid. In the previous NBA, that made you an elite level player.
Draymond, when those old players talk about Draymond getting knocked out, the one thing I will have to sit there and say is we're talking about Draymond now. A lot of those players are talking about the Draymond that was known for kicking you in the groin and doing all that wild and foolish stuff that everyone we kind of just sweep under the rug because he's matured a little bit and it's a little bit past that prime. But Draymond had a nice 3-4 year stretch, and he still gets talked about now. Hey, watch out, he gonna kick you. Like that stuff like that. Yeah, you absolutely got knocked out back in the day, and there's clips about that. So when Draymond says these things, I think he's looking at it more like, oh, that's not basketball. Well, getting kicked in the nuts ain't basketball either. Yeah. So let's talk. Let's keep it apples to apples and not necessarily get offended because you're getting judged and you're getting critiqued off of the persona and you off the reputation you built, off the stuff you did on the court that wasn't basketball. You can sit there and argue that the stuff he did against Jaylen Brown wasn't basketball, pulling the dude's shorts down and stuff like that. I mean, I get it. I get why he did it and stuff like that. I get what he was doing. I respect it. But don't sit there and flex to the point where it's like, oh, you wouldn't have done it. No, you would have done that stuff back then. And men being men, you would have got handed. You would have had to fight. You would have had to fight. We fight now over that at the pickup game. Yeah. We're talking about the 80s and stuff like that. You would have fought. Like, don't sit there and make it seem as if that's not the case and stuff like that. Yeah. I think it's a little disingenuous the way he presented himself in that case. But because he was making it seem again, as if that's not basketball. It was like, dude, you don't do a lot of basketball stuff. So you're just talking out from behind something.
And again, right, it's about who you talking to and who you talking about, right? Like, Cedric Maxwell was that dude. That's who it was, Cedric Maxwell, by the way. Okay. I had to look it up. But Cedric Maxwell was that dude. And he also was on a team that absolutely would punch you in your face. Larry Bird been in so many fights.
That clips of Larry Bird actually fighting and swinging off people. Hey, bro, come on, bro.
Larry Bird been in so many fights, they had to jump Larry Bird.
Wow.
Larry Bird got jumped on the court, brother. That's how many fights he been in, bro.
Y'all finna jump Larry? Like, you know.
So, like, it's always weird to me, bro, when like I understand the argument and rightfully so, right? Like, I think the difference is in it as well. A lot of the role players
argue that Cedric had a better career than what's his name?
Who?
You can argue that Cedric Maxwell, as a defender and stuff like that, playing the same position, had a better career.
Oh, than Draymond?
He got Finals MVP.
Yeah. No, that hey, kid, 100%. There's no argument. Finals MVP.
well, he don't have defensive player and stuff like that. But I mean, Finals MVP carries a lot of weight.
But again, right? Like,
but Andre Iguodala got a Finals MVP.
Yeah, well, that's true. But again, we went and looked at that. He deserved it. He deserved it. Bron shot like 30% that Finals or something like that.
Yeah.
Shot like 18% of the game there. So I don't know, bro. Like I look at that era. That was something from the weekend that really caught my eye because I looked at that and it was that era.
I got this random fly that just like came out of nowhere.
I was wondering what you was looking at.
No, it just came out of nowhere.
Hey, if you had caught him right there, that would have been hilarious. I think it's always interesting because right from that era, the stars speak, but the dudes from this era that talk. I seen them just go past. That was crazy. The fly. The dudes from this era that talk are usually the role players. It's usually the JJ Reddicks. It's usually like you don't see a lot of superstars speaking out about it because a lot of the superstars understand what it takes to be a I think, right? A lot of the superstars understand what it takes to be a superstar in that era, to have to carry a team, to have to essentially at that point, right? Like you carrying the NBA on your shoulders.
I'm gonna get this fly.
Essentially at that point, right? Like you carrying the NBA on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Like the league is built on your name. And so like I thought that was interesting. And I like how Jerry threw it in there as well. Like, bro, we was going to work in the offseason.
Yeah. You understand what we was doing, what the WNBA is doing now then?
The crazy thing is, no, that's actually legit. Like the WNBA players don't get paid a lot. They're actually in the same situation as the early NBA players. And we don't sit there and say, well, look at what they gotta do.
They ain't in the same situation. Them early NBA players didn't have nowhere they could go and make the same money, if not more, than they were making right then. Because all the leagues were in the same season. The ABA and the NBA played in the same season. So when basketball ended. That's why the Muzz was at the Rucker just kicking it, playing ball. You know what I mean? So, like, the WNBA players, I'm going to be real with you. The WNBA, if it fold, I fully understand it. I'm going to be a little upset, but I will fully understand it. Because they paying them 4 times as much money sometimes to go play in these other countries.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but
Super crazy.
I would understand it.
I realize why they do it. I realize why. Ooh, it almost hit me. This fly. I'm gonna get this fly, dog. I got a special.
The fact that you zoomed in.
Dog, I'm gonna get this fly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this fly. I know why, and I understand why other countries pay them more. It's not a conversation America's ready to have. And it's not a conversation that most women are ready to have either. So, yeah. We can just... It's one of those things where it's like it touches on... Like hearing... I got this from a player. From a player who plays. It is like... It's just not something that you can speak about without someone feeling like you're either just talking down on, being sexist, this, that, and the other. When it's like... It's not really that, but it has some twinge to that. So it's like, for the sake of our platform, I'm not going to do it. And I'm absolutely hyper focused on killing this fly. I think that's the only reason why you got me on the screen so long. I am hyper focused.
Trying to see what was going on.
You were trying to see if I was going to get this fly the next 15 seconds. That's what it was.
I want to see you catch him. Nah, I don't know, bro. Like that's it. The old NBA built everything for not only the NBA that is now, but even the WNBA to have these avenues. And it's like, even like we talked about with the Nick Wright conversation, right? Like, it's weird to me that you can have your basis for your argument for why somebody's good is you being bad. Or is that era was bad, or that era wasn't as good as your era? Like, that's the weirdest thing in the world to me. Like, Michael Jordan's great because the new NBA is terrible. Or LeBron James is great because there were plumbers in the old NBA.
You want to know why that whole analogy is trash? Check this out. So you look at that list, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, you got the list, so you could put this up in post. But I got the list kind of right here.
Yeah.
And I look at this list. And we can literally count about 30 players that played with or against Mike. And every last one of them would tell you, absolute dog. So how is it that you can make a list, top 50 players, comprised with half of Mike's contemporaries, who all will say that he was by the way.
Well, let's be fair. Has Nick Wright made that argument? I don't know if I've heard Nick Wright make that argument. Nick Wright, that's usually the general LeBron fan argument.
Nick Wright has made the argument that the competition wasn't as great.
Okay.
But I will say this. I find that as a bunch of BS. I think the 80s and 90s could be just the game was different. I don't say it was so much better. The game was different because there's a lot of players that we never even mentioned who was getting buckets back then. There's a lot of players we don't even mention. The average kid now, 20 years old, wouldn't even know half of these people, but I can give you a long list of people who average 18 or 20 points a game, which if you give for how the game is called now, they could be stars today, or they could be considered based off their output, a star player. But Mike played with George Gervin, Clyde Drexler.
George Gervin. That's crazy when you think about it. With George Gervin.
With. He shut down. He totally changed Clyde Drexler's reputation and career trajectory.
Bro, he's
totally changed Scottie Pippen's career.
I don't know if he changed. I don't know about that.
Yeah, they
totally changed how you view Patrick
I don't know
Ewing.
if he changed Clyde because I mean, which
Portland was just
because he beat Clyde in 93, right? Or no, 92 he beat Clyde.
And then Clyde played the same position.
Right. And 92 he beat Clyde. And then Clyde won 2 rings. Oh no, Clyde won 2 rings. He finished the second half of the season with Houston in 94, and he won in 95.
Now you know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, you saying the perception of the masses.
The perception of the masses do not even know that Clyde has a ring.
Yeah.
They have to think. When you think about it,
you only think of Hakeem. You only think of Hakeem.
That's crazy.
But think about it like this, though. Totally changed the trajectory of I would say, Isaiah Thomas's career. Patrick Ewing.
No, Isaiah Thomas changed his trajectory. Isaiah Thomas is perceived as the person that he is because of walking off the court and not shaking Mike's hand before the game was over.
Yeah, but if Mike is not there, and mind you, look at the teams. Detroit had a better team than the Bulls had for a very long time. Yeah, when they finally 100%. Beat them, the only thing that really changed is one potential all-star. He had 1, maybe 2 potential all-stars, but more than likely just competent players. And all of a sudden, we're here and we've arrived.
Yeah,
that says a lot.
The wild part is, right, it's crazy because, if you think about it, he technically had 2 all-stars. But how the NBA
wasn't an all-star
how the NBA did the all-star game back then, Horace wouldn't get in. Like in today's NBA, Horace would have got in as a 4.
So he has Horace and a young Scottie Pippen, rookie Scottie Pippen, and guess what? Now we beat our nemesis.
Yeah,
that's not to sit there and say, "Oh, these people were so great." I'm not saying that they weren't.
Yeah,
but that goes to show you that my star on my team was so good. He needed a little bit of help to get past you.
Yeah,
that's what that says to me. If we want to sit there and say that.
A little bit.
Everyone wants to talk about Magic Johnson, how old he was. The average team on that Lakers team was 29.
Average age.
The average team on the Bulls team when Mike beat him was 28.
Age.
Really?
Yeah. No, that Lakers team wasn't that old. The oldest dudes on the team was
it was Magic was up there. Magic was 31.
Yeah, but 31 ain't that old.
31 ain't old. But everyone sits there and said they were old and they were beat up. No, the heck they wasn't. No, they wasn't. You made that narrative.
Listen, I ain't gonna.
Yeah, 31 ain't old.
You made that narrative.
I can still do what I do.
Now, caveat, right? 31's a lot older.
Magic went on to play 7 other seasons. Well, he did have his ordeal.
He didn't retire until 95. This is what I will say. 31's a lot older when you're doing cocaine and hookers every day. It's a lot older when every day. Wow.
So
Hey,
Wow,
when you
boy.
when you walk in
were you
on
with Magic the other night or not?
you know what I mean? Like,
I need to know.
He's a wild boy. I
hey,
ain't got
hey,
nothing
when
to say.
you walk in on the traveling cocaine circus, then you understand why George Gervin was struggling to play those last couple years.
All I'm saying is, are we really going to sit there and say that 4-year difference between 3-year difference between Mike and Magic Johnson was so great that you can sit there and say, yeah, he was old? No, he wasn't. Mike was winning championships at 36, 35. Was it 35? 34. Was Mike old then, or do we just say it was Mike? What do we say? How does the narrative shift?
Yeah.
A lot of times people sit there and they remove a lot of context just to make their favorite player appear bigger than they were.
That's what I'm talking about with it. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that's a poor narrative. Like, I can see how great LeBron James is while still understanding how amazing Michael Jordan is.
Right.
I can see how amazing Kobe Bryant is and still tell you, hey, Shaq was pretty freaking good as well.
Very.
You know what I mean? Like,
by the way,
like I have this context in my brain, and I will say this, right? For me, the NBA is a weird sport, and it's why we came up with GOAT, G-O-T-E, greatest of the era. Because for me,
greatest of the era.
It's so different.
Yeah.
It's so, like, basketball legitimately is not, even Jerry West acknowledged it. Basketball is not the same game.
Oh, no, definitely.
It's big. This is nowhere near what Naismith thought of.
Move the ball 4 times around the perimeter.
Bro, legit.
Then you shoot the ball.
You couldn't even dribble at first.
Bro, if you really want to see go watch some of them, like, old school blue blood college games.
I seen glory.
Like,
bro.
I'm not talking about old. I'm not talking about, like, from last season. Like, they're running the same sets.
Oh, yeah.
What Coach K was running last year, they was running in the 80s. They was running in the 90s. They was running in the 2000s.
What do we say about Cuse?
About what?
About Syracuse? They still.
Oh, yeah. What you said?
2-3 zone.
They still running that 2-3 zone, bro. They've been running that 2-3 zone.
Oh, what? Because we talk about the Titans. I went to
Syracuse,
watch the movie.
it works though, because if you know how to work a good zone, you cover up a lot of deficiencies.
No, but this is the thing, right? It works because on the other side they're doing sets as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work if you got continuous motion and you just got a ridiculously freaky player that's just able to pull it up from half court. Like, all of a sudden, all that's broken.
Yeah.
Like, you run a Warrior style playbook versus Syracuse. They wouldn't know how to handle that. Now, you got to have the players to do it, right? But, like, if you're running that, like, they wouldn't know how to handle that. What they going to do, switch to 3-2? It don't matter. I'm 10 feet behind the line.
Eventually, somebody, like,
hey, you better figure out a boxing one. You better figure out a 1-3-1 or something. You better get it together. Like, so I think
pieces around.
I think that's the wild part about it to me, man. Like, the NBA.
How do you feel about this? I got to ask you this. Now, we're picking on this particular list because it's Nick's Wright list. He put it out there. I mean, he's a popular figure, stuff like that. So this is not law, but I'm just looking at his list. And it's his opinion, but I want to know the logic behind having James Harden over Kawhi Leonard.
I don't know.
That's the injury-prone Super Bowl.
But he's got a ring.
Leonard
He's got 2 rings.
Legitimately has been to finals with. I mean, he's been in the finals with other All-Stars.
He's been to the finals
players.
3 times.
Yeah, he's been with other players, so he had Tim Duncan and stuff like that. But he was absolutely the guy in that finals. LeBron was having a hard time with him.
The one they lost.
He won one with them too.
The one they won, he wasn't scoring like that. The one they won,
True.
I think he was averaging like 8 points a game, 10 points a game, something like that. I could be off on that, but I know it wasn't. Like, I think the next year he was averaging like 18 in the finals. Like, it was a jump. Wow. He had took a step.
But then he goes to Toronto, something that DeMar DeRozan couldn't do at the time. Now the league had changed. I'm going to give you that.
LeBron
caveat.
wasn't in the East no more, if I'm not mistaken.
LeBron wasn't in the East. The East was a little weaker.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and make it seem like he was all that, but the same roster, and the Warriors were injured. I got to give him that. But he has 2 rings. James Harden ain't got 1.
James Harden ain't
even been to the finals to sniff one.
James Harden.
In fact, James Harden is universally regarded as one of the people who disappears in clutch. He has that reputation worse than Chris Paul, who's made it to a final.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Well, here's the thing. There's a difference between being injured and not showing up. James Harden will freaking not show up.
Yeah, but
and he's done that multiple times. When we look at the 3-2 lead they had over the Warriors, we say Chris Paul got them there, and he did.
Can we
look at how they blew that lead, we say James Harden lost it because he did. James Harden could have won one game.
He didn't contribute, not one.
Can we also talk about the fact that Doc Rivers keep getting teams that got these dudes on them, and also is the Mr. 3-1 himself? Like he went from a team with Chris Paul to a team with James Harden, and all these mugs have the same stigma around them. Can't get the job done.
I'm just all right. Hold on, I got to drop off because I got to kill this fly now. This fly has to die.
Hold on, ah dang, you gonna make me do all this editing work?
That's wild. You got it?
I just can't. I can't see that far, so I gotta bow. All right, I'm gonna have to get back up. Oh, but nah, it's just it's weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it's one of those things when you talk about like the old generation and the new generation. I just look at it and I'm like, why we got to be disrespectful about it? Yeah, I mean,
it's all depends. Everybody's purview or vantage point is always going to be different. Like, we cape for who we like, and then we vilify who we don't. So it's like, depending on where you are, you might not, like if you ask like an OG Chicago Bulls fan, you're not gonna find a Detroit Piston on their top anything list. Or if you talk to a Knicks fan, they don't like Jordon at all.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even want to acknowledge his greatness or stats or leading in those stats. Some stuff they don't even want to acknowledge because it's like, man, like other teams was really going through it.
Yeah.
And Chicago was doing all this winning. So they like, bro, you stopped our best player from going where he was supposed to go because you were just that good.
Hey, beat him his whole life. That's a tough
whole entire
Patrick Ewing has got to be like the toughest, like taking an AO kind of player, right? Because like, bro, I'm talking about, didn't he beat Patrick Ewing in college, in the pros multiple times?
They beat
Georgetown to win the national championship.
Oh wow.
Now, right, like worthy, a lot of dudes on that team, but that's still tough. That's still tough. Yeah, I mean,
like, man, like I make it to all these Eastern Conference Finals, only to fall short each time. And it's like, even
did you get them? Hold on, I gotta see if I can add this mud back in here. I can't see that far. Hold up, I gotta do all this editing work because kid want to pop in and out.
Are you thinking about it?
He's back, y'all. He's back.
I didn't do it intentionally. The fly was just noticeable, and it just kept bugging.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It was 4 or 5 moments where like I seen it go past.
It was getting larger.
I was like, I'm glad he said it's a fly because I'd have thought it was a spirit.
Wow.
Oh man.
No, but if you think about it, it's like, man, like it was like a race for who was gonna win. When Jordan retired and went to baseball, it was like, okay, cool, he's gone now. Now who's gonna win? And then a lot of legit, like, I got this 2-piece for you.
Yeah.
And then here Jordan pops back up. And it's like, well, that's enough of that.
The funniest thing in the world is how everybody outside of like Jordan is like, I don't think we had anything for that team. And Michael's just like Michael and there's certain dudes on the team that like the role players, but like even Scotty came out and was like, I don't think we'd have beat that team.
Houston?
Huh? They didn't think they was gonna beat Houston. Scotty said that, right? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Horace said that. I could be wrong on that one. But then you hear Muzz that's like the role players and stuff like that on the team is like, what you do with Jordon? Wait,
like,
who was holding down Jordon? The dude that Jordon had beat two times already?
Who did they have at the 2?
Clyde. Clyde got traded to Houston.
Oh wow.
The problem was never what can we do with Mike? Because they knew they couldn't do nothing. The problem was there was nobody in the freaking league who could do anything with Hakeem, and Mike can't stick Hakeem.
No.
So it's like, hey, what you gonna do?
Who was the center?
What you gonna do? Because Hakeem was cooking Shaq, cooked David Robinson. Yeah. He cooked all the centers.
But again,
Cartwright still there too?
Hey, but again, right? So this the thing though.
Was Cartwright still there for that one too?
Was who?
Cartwright.
Cartwright probably was there, but Bill Cartwright getting cooked too. So it don't matter. Like, listen, he was cooking. Hakeem was cooking Shaq when Shaq could still move.
Oh.
Like
Shaq was like Embiid now.
Yeah, Shaq was moving like Embiid now.
Hey.
Shaq was actually moving better than Embiid. Shaq was freaky athletic.
That's why
Shaq could move. Shaq was moving like Anthony Davis, but like a healthy version.
That's why Elijah Wan got the. Like I said, you got to be cold to get a rap bar or verse about any ski.
He don't got to be that cold no more.
Well, I'm talking about
Tyler Hero got a whole song.
I'm talking about then, because if you could,
then you had to be cold.
If you could rhyme something with Elijah Wan, like going,
yeah, then you had to be cold.
Right, you got to be cold. Come on.
Hey, I've still only heard 2 Giannis bars where they used his last name, and Wayne is one of them.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You gotta be cold to rap.
I got a Greek freak. She called me Antetokounmpo. I heard that. I was like, okay, Wayne. I hear what you say.
Was it Reason?
He said, I got a Greek freak. She called me Antetokounmpo.
No, I'm thinking about the second time. It was Reason did it.
Reason did one. I don't remember what it was though, but it was off of that Reason album.
Yeah, that was pretty good though. Cold. It fit. He didn't go. It didn't look like he went out of his way to do it.
Man, I ain't heard nothing from Reason in a minute. He's still dropping.
He should be dropping soon too.
Hey man, get back on it, brother.
But you know how TDE is. They got.
Bruh, facts. TDE be disrespectful with the artists.
I would say disrespectful. They got an order.
Yeah, ever since the Isaiah Rashad thing happened, they've been kind of.
Now, SZA dropped a deluxe.
Hey, good pivot there, AD. Good pivot. Real good pivot there, AD. All right. Hey, so this is the thing, right? We've been talking all this time. We'd have probably lost half our viewership because Muzz came in here looking for Chicago Bears content, didn't get it. Whatever. It's a podcast. It's a show. It is what it is.
Oh, we still talking about
this list is so long you could break it down. I think Steve Nash is one of the most disrespected 2-time MVPs in history. I don't care who you think should have got it. He absolutely earned it, and you can't sit there and say anything about it. But I think if we stay on this list, we'll never get to the Bears.
Yeah, no.
We got 2 things to talk about with the Bears, dog. If you don't mind me segueing, when we talk about just ugliness of it, why is everyone hyped about these orange unis that we keep losing in? Like, why do we keep redesigning? We keep redesigning the one uniform we don't win in. Like, what the heck is going on with this, dog? What are we doing?
No, they don't. I hate how factual this is. I hate how factual this is. I love them orange uniforms. They are my favorite uniform.
Yeah.
Every time these mugs wear them, they either playing against a team that we should dominate or they playing against one of the best teams in the league, and they lose every time.
What?
I wish somebody had a stat on it. Let me see. Maybe there's a stat on it.
Because our notifications been going crazy.
Guess what?
Almost
it's
half
so
a day.
Iconic. The Bears have the stat on the website. I'm on Bears.com and we're 6-6.
In the orange uniform?
Mind you, this came out 2 years ago. So let's look at it now.
Well, we ain't did a lot of winning in the last. Well, you know what? They might not have worn them the last couple of years because we did like the ode to like the 1920 Bears
and it's
uniform.
And it's the Stanley those.
Yeah, and then we did the Stanley. Or the Staleys, the Stanleys.
Those jerseys. I like those.
So we might not have worn them the last couple of years. I don't remember a game where we wore the orange. I do agree. The last couple of years.
Like I said, our notifications.
But 6-6 ain't good either.
Our notifications have been blowing up over just the jersey design in general. I do agree.
Incorporate the bear head.
That was a big topic. Like, okay, cool. Put the put the actual bear, not the C on the side of the helmet. It's just like everybody's talking about like
we take the C off now because it's not going to be in Chicago anymore. That they already said no to those plans.
Well, it don't matter. It's still gonna be the Chicago Bears. The Bears are one of the few teams in the NFL that play in the city that they're named for.
Because both New York teams play in Jersey.
Yeah, both New York teams. I don't think Arizona's in Arizona. I don't.
Arizona's a state, dog.
No, but the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're right.
We're not calling it.
Hey, that's a clip. That's on me.
Where's Arizona?
I will give you that.
Las Vegas.
I don't think. No, hold up. No, I might not be wrong. They might play outside of Arizona. No, who played? No, it's not them.
Where would they play, Pat?
No.
Hey, wait.
Because like the Raiders were the Oakland Raiders
in Nevada. They're the Las Vegas Raiders.
And then they just became they just became the they were the Vegas Raiders in Oakland. Something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't
nobody
stupid.
got that off like the Los Angeles Angels of
same.
Anaheim.
The Cardinals have been a team in the NFL for quite some time. The Raiders were going through transition, and they didn't change the name until they officially got
but I think I think the stadiums outside, like Golden State, didn't play in.
They play in Frisco.
They played in Frisco.
But they're the San Francisco.
They used to be
Warriors.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like it's a bunch of teams in the league that are named for
this. Well, that was so long ago. They've been the Golden State Warriors.
But they stadium was in Oakland. And then they were like, Oakland's a little rough. So they moved it back on the other side of that bridge with the pita bread. What Dave Chappelle say? Come back for our Birkenstocks. Welcome to Oakland. That's one of my favorite skits of all time. He said, click.
Hold on,
click,
now
click.
that you say. So, Indiana Pacers have the whole state.
No.
Arizona.
I gotta back y'all up because y'all about to go on. We about to be on national TV looking dumb as hell. Oh, wait.
No. Hey kid. On national TV, you got people to feed you the information. We picking this up off Google right now.
All right.
We're not talking about football, right?
I had to double check to make sure I was right because I didn't want to interrupt you while you was on the road. But the Golden State Warriors, no matter where they play, as long as it's in California, will always be considered the Golden State Warriors. Because the Golden State nickname applies to the entire state of California. They can play on Skid Row for all I care. As long as it's in California, they're Golden State Warriors. That's totally different.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Arizona Cardinals.
All right, so like this, right? So like this. Here's a list. I don't know who put this list together. Shout out to y'all so I can stop looking dumb. Miami Dolphins playing Miami Gardens, Florida. Not the same spot, but same name. I give you that one. Washington football team plays in Landover, Maryland.
So they don't play in DC.
The Rams and Chargers, the Los Angeles Rams and Chargers, both play in Inglewood. The Buffalo Bills play in Orchard Park. The Giants and Jets play in East Jersey. The Raiders aren't even in Vegas; they're in Paradise, Nevada. So like what I was saying was like the whole point was like there's a bunch of teams that play out their city and still have the name.
Like I said, my only gripe with going to Arlington,
Arizona was dumb. That's on me.
Going to Arlington Heights is Arlington Heights better be ready.
Oh no, they finna, bro. Have you seen what they finna do to that mug? I'm excited.
I'm not doubting they're gonna.
I'm excited.
They're gonna have great facilities, and hopefully that gets a lot of work for our
also.
But my thing is, it's the logistics. Getting to a Bears game in Chicago. Chicago is used to larger events. They're well staffed. Staffed is used to a large group of people.
Oh, year one is going to be horrible.
I'm talking about
year one is going to be horrible.
Heights and
they're not going to know how to deal with
the logistics.
Yeah.
Is your police department ready? Is your public works ready? Is streets and sanitation ready? Like, what are y'all going to do when everybody hits the toll road to go to Arlington Heights and the exit is backed up 10 miles?
The same thing they do when you get on the toll road to go to Chicago and the exit is backed up 10 miles. You're going to wait your turn to get off on the exit. Like roads are going to start working different because the Bears moved to Arlington Heights.
This is how impactful a football team or a sports team is to a local economy. And so for those who don't know, who watch the show or not part of it, Arlington is 40 minutes away from Chicago.
Yeah.
It's a different township altogether. What's going to happen is they're going to have to expand the roadways. They're going to have to, this is going to create a lot of jobs simply to accommodate the traffic that they're going to have and the revenue that this is going to create for that township. And so what could happen is you see, what's a good example of this? You know how Texas has all these like, if for those from Texas, you all know there's Dallas, but then there's all these other townships that are not as popular or big as Dallas, but they popping. They got a lot of stuff going. It's going to create that type of synergy for Chicago. Chicago is going to have a lot of suburbs that are going to have more going on, particularly Arlington Heights. But then the surrounding areas, you're going to have to make a way to accommodate all those people because tailgate and all that stuff. All that is just going to drive much more revenue to the city. And if you personally, if you ask me, I think that's the best thing to do for the state overall. And you all correct me if I'm wrong.
Best expectation
I'm with you.
It's a college feel, right? That's the best expectation.
No,
it creates
when you go to a game,
you create like you're almost like a Wrigleyville.
No, yes, that's what it's going to be.
Right.
The town of Arlington Heights is going to change. Their entire identity is going to change. They're going to become the home of the Bears.
It's going to be centered around the Bears.
Yeah.
But then
so many things around them is going to change to accommodate that.
100%.
But then you're going to get
people are going to move to those areas to be closer
True.
to that stadium and the action too. Like I don't know why that happens, but if you look at how it's positioned, no one's really
out that way.
When you go to a Bears game right now, what do you do when you leave?
I don't go to Bears games.
You go home.
You go home.
There's nothing. Because there's no parking. There's nothing to do.
Yeah, you get tired. You tired.
It's a lot to do.
And it's
so
a Sunday.
And it's so much.
It's a Sunday.
You exert
and
so
then
much energy just getting to the game.
Yeah.
You got to get out. You got to find parking in downtown, which is a pain without the game and stuff like that. And I'm not saying Arlington is going to be better because we don't know, but they have the opportunity to make it a more pleasurable experience for those who come to see the Bears play.
If they don't have a restaurant that's directly attached to the new facility, they're doing themselves a disservice. Because all you got to do is put some type of Bears, whatever, sports bar, whatever you want to do.
They need to make Jerry World.
Well, I think that's going to be the city.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the city. I think that's what's going to happen.
They need to make Jerry World. I mean, when we went down there, obviously we couldn't see the game, but it's like, hey, just the stuff around it was great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm speaking as a tourist. I think the people there will probably get tired of it, whatever. You may be accustomed to it, but it felt totally different. We don't have the same accessibility in Chicago as you all do in Dallas for that stadium, for those who are watching from that area. So, I mean.
Nah, NFL is a whole different beast, bro, because you think about you get a taste of it. If you ever go to the Hall of Fame, like I got friends in Canton, and Canton, Ohio
is living off that.
It's just the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
That's the whole city. No matter what, it's the NFL Hall of Fame, and it's because the NFL comes down there. They do things for the Hall of Fame. They have the museum down there. They've got the actual Hall of Fame. They've got the whatchamacallit game comes there every year. The Hall of Fame game is every year, the first preseason game. Yeah. So you get to see every team come through your city, and then like everything that happens there is built around the Hall of Fame being there.
So I didn't know that. That's cool.
It's dope when you go there. Like as a football fan, it's mad dope when you go there. I want to go down there. Probably not this year. Probably next year because I think they're going to induct Devin into the Hall of Fame. So I want to go down there for a vlog opportunity.
You gotta vlog it, man.
I want to go down there for a vlog opportunity, and I also want to Peanut. I don't know if Peanut's eligible yet, but Peanut might be eligible next year as well.
He got to get off his day job. He might be undercover.
Oh, yeah, he is an FBI agent. Hey,
Hey,
yeah,
shout out
hold
to him.
FBI agent. Hey, have you heard the stories
Shout out
about
to Lil
Peanut from Lil Reese?
Lil Reese told that story like, hey, bro, he used to play for the Bears.
Hey,
Why he was handcuffing, buddy? Like, oh, he used to play for the Bears.
hey, bro, they said, Lil Reese said Peanut was raiding the crib and kicked the door in and had them on the ground, all of them.
He's like, bro,
Hey.
they used to play for the Bears? That's wild.
You think Peanut's throwing old football lines out there too? He's just like, don't make me show you the Peanut punch. I'm like, oh snap! Wait a minute now,
Bro, it's full on FBI activity. Side question. I don't know if you know, like, because I always wonder, like, where do, like, as an incoming player, if you don't live full time in Chicago, like, where players are kind of funneled to go live while they play for certain teams, does that change with the Bears moving to Arlington?
No, I wouldn't think so. Arlington Heights is closer to Lake. Most Bears players usually are in Lake Forest. Arlington Heights is closer to Lake Forest than
Northbrook,
yeah. Arlington Heights is closer to probably them. They probably, I'm gonna be real with you, right? They probably not saying that. They probably love it.
Yeah.
They probably hope that, like, the players that are on that team are gonna love it because it's gonna be a 20-minute Uber ride, or it's gonna be a 20-minute drive versus having to go to the city from Lake Forest.
Yeah, that's probably that always was interesting to me because it's like, okay, cool. We know D Rose, he had an apartment in Trump Towers, but they did all their practicing at Wintrust and at the UC. So it's like, okay, cool. I just have to go to the west side. That's not far to live in the
they weren't
river.
Oh yeah, it was Wintrust, wasn't it?
Right. For him,
was it Wintrust? No, it was a different spot because they weren't practicing at the UC.
You saw what?
Rose from the town though. He know his way around.
Yeah, Derek know how to navigate. Hey, that's the biggest difference too. Like, you know when to get on 290 and when not to get on 290. Like, that make a big difference.
But I think one of the homies was telling me, even when
where did they used to practice though? It wasn't
Wintrust.
Was it Wintrust?
They have
UIC.
Advocate built them a training facility across the street
from the stadium, but Derek wasn't there for that.
At first they used to go out to I just saw it on
it wasn't UIC?
No, it wasn't UIC. No, they had a training facility, but it was somewhere else. I can't think of the name of it though. That's crazy how long that's been. Bro, I swear, anybody, and this is the weird part, right? Anybody else notice this? The recent stuff that happens in sports and like in that we see and stuff like that, is it harder to remember that than the stuff from like when you were growing up? Because we was talking about like Brandon Roy versus Kobe today, and my guy was like, Brandon Roy used to give Kobe buckets, and I was like, I don't remember Brandon Roy ever giving Kobe buckets. And like, I was running through like all of these games that Brandon Roy, nah, my boy, he ain't never give Kobe, but they went back and forth. Pull up the game. Because they went back and forth.
B-Roy was a problem.
B-Roy was a problem. B-Roy was a problem. But B-Roy's
I think B-Roy got a game winner on Kobe.
B-Roy's best game versus he do. And guess what? In that same game, Kobe also had 32.
Hey, hold on. If he had
but right, like I could pull that out of I could pull these games out of nowhere. I was like, if I'm not mistaken, don't Kobe got 63 on him?
Oh.
When B-Roy got 32, Kobe had 32. When like I started just pulling out all these games from my memory. But like, Brand asked me about a game that happened like last season. And I was like, we played them last season?
Everything,
like, bro, like I swear, bro.
Because even because what, the strike was 2 years before COVID, right?
Yeah.
So that strike season was rapid. It was like 4 games a day. Like it was a really rapid season, and then we had almost a regular season, and then next thing you know, COVID hit and they was in the bubble. Like it was a regular season, All-Star game in Chicago, best city to do it. Y'all should do it again, and now they in a bubble. I think it's a blur. It's like, okay, cool. First game, everybody's excited, and the next thing you know, it's playoffs.
Yeah. We've been all over the place in this episode, man. I'm sorry if y'all
all right, so I have to go back and do this because I remember Brandon Roy. And the thing you got to remember about Brandon Roy is Brandon Roy wasn't going toe-to-toe with Kobe point for point. A lot of times in their matchup, they played about 13 times. Brandon Roy's team won 8 of them. Brandon Roy had a better
Roy had a better
in some of those instances. So, like, when you look at the 06-07
Brandon
season,
Roy had
that's
Rookie
Kobe
West,
and Kobe's.
Nick Batum, LaMarcus Aldridge. Brandon Roy had all the players that's in the league now that we was like, he didn't live up to it when they was living up to it.
Yeah. In their first 2 matchups, Kobe absolutely went off. And the 65-point game he won.
What year was
that was a no-brainer.
Or later?
In 06-07, March 16, 2007, Kobe dropped 65 on him.
So it was high school.
But then Kobe had better stats most of the time they played. But the one stat that always gets me is Brandon Roy in many of these things will average over 10 assists. So, yeah, Kobe would give him 30, 34, whatever. Brandon Roy might give him 20, 23, but he'll have 12 assists behind it. So when you look at, points responsible for and stuff like that, yeah, Brandon Roy was giving them buckets because it's like when those buckets happened. And he was also getting the offense.
It's tough for me. 2010-11, Roy was hurt by then. He wasn't the same player by then.
Anything past 09 is a wash.
Yeah, he wasn't the same player by then. 8 assists, 5 assists, 5 assists, no assists in this one. Oh, no, wait, 12 assists. Never mind, it just moved on me. 12 assists. 12 assists.
He was getting
14.
By the time he actually had those knee injuries, it was a wash. So by 09,
Brandon Roy was a problem. Brandon Roy was a problem.
He had 2 years.
Brandon
2 years where he absolutely was giving everybody the business.
But again, right? Like giving buckets.
It's only 2 years though.
Giving buckets is like, hey, bro, like you ain't did nothing against me either. Like out of the matchup between the two of them, Kobe got the case on that one. But it was just how it was. You know what it is though? It's also how
I give you 34 and 5. You give me 23 and 12.
But this is the thing, right? This is the thing, right? Because I was the weirdo that like once YouTube started becoming big, like I would go back and watch a full game. So like how ESPN would perceive it to us because Portland won the game was that Brandon Roy was just cooking Kobe.
And he wasn't.
Because it was Brandon. They showing you all the Brandon Roy buckets that are making it bigger, that are making it, Brandon Roy came. And I remember this. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing the game. So I was like, he cooked Kobe? I got to watch this game. And I'm watching the game, and I'm like, he not cooking Kobe. He playing well. Like, they winning. Like, but literally, there was a moment where it was like, Brandon Roy, come down, pull up, cash. And he was a better shooter. So he would, like, walk into one. Bow. Kobe, come down the other way. All right. Boom, 2 dribble, turn around, pull up. And I'm like, that's a back and forth game. Like, why'd they position it this way? But I think the game where Brandon Roy probably had his biggest game, I think it was like 32 and like 8 or something against Kobe.
Wowzers.
They won by like 10. And I remember vividly that was the game where it was like all you saw on ESPN was Brandon Roy, boom, Brandon Roy, boom, Brandon. And I remember the next day at school, everybody was, boy, Brandon Roy was cooking that man. He couldn't do nothing with it. And I was like, oh, no, but I'm the only weirdo that went back and watched this full game.
The only person who I would absolutely
it might not even been YouTube. That might have really just been a replay on ESPN. I might have watched.
NBA TV or something.
No,
it's only 2 people
09 NBA
in
TV?
my lifetime.
Yeah, probably. NBA TV was getting busting in, yeah.
There's only 2 people in my lifetime who I would say hung with or cooked Kobe. Gilbert Arenas and AI. Gilbert Arenas
T-Mac got a game where he cooked Kobe too, though. T-Mac got a game where he cooked Kobe too, though.
Hey, dog. Gilbert got a 60 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds on that man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know what? No. That's not the same game. That's cumulative. He didn't get 10 assists in that 60-point game. No, he didn't.
Hey, if he got 60, 10, and 10, hey, now that's cooking somebody. Hey, kid.
He got 68 and 8.
Hey, that's cooking somebody. Yeah,
that's cooking.
That's cooking somebody.
Cooked. Kobe dropped 45, 8, and 10, but he got 68 and 8.
Nah, see, is that cooking?
No.
Is that cooking?
Wait. I'm gonna send you the matchup. It's in the group chat. Look at the matchups. This is the time where you'll be like, Gilbert was cooking Kobe.
Let me see.
Now, here's the thing. He wasn't sticking Kobe the entire time. And you know that Kobe wasn't sticking him the entire time because they played 2 different positions.
But I know they were sticking each other in the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter, yeah. So it's like I have to go back and watch these games. But when you look at these stats, it was pretty close. Like if
they
Kobe
would go back and forth. They would go back and forth. 37 to 30. Yeah, they would go back and forth. Kobe and no, Gilbert got the last laugh on him. Oh no, he didn't. No, they had a lot of matchups, bro.
They had a lot of matchups.
I gotta go back. I'm gonna be real with you. I think because he played for the Wizards and the Wizards was so trash, I never really watched Gilbert versus Kobe. I probably caught it if it was on ESPN, but I never like sought it out. Brandon Roy, I sought out. I love that team. I was pissed that we traded LaMarcus Aldridge. Oh, I was pissed for Tyrese Thomas. Oh my God.
It's such a
That's the epitome of the team that we got.
He had a lot of momentum coming out of LSU.
Bro, and Muzz always be like, bro, but we wouldn't have.
Yeah, he had a lot of momentum.
What did they say? We wouldn't have got Derrick Rose without if we had kept LaMarcus Aldridge.
I don't like the
cap.
Hindsight is 2020,
bro.
Like you can't, like of course everybody can stand like, oh,
AD,
if
we
this
won
domino
40,
didn't fall, then this domino doesn't fall.
AD,
of course.
We won 42 games that year. We won 42 games that year. No, we won 41, right? We was 500. We won 41 games the year we got Derrick Rose. If I'm not mistaken, right? Like, it was a lot. So, like, you can't tell me, oh, you're not getting Derrick Rose if you don't get LaMarcus Aldridge. Yeah, we would have, because the NBA wanted us to. We shouldn't have got Derrick Rose in the first place. Like that. Hey, listen, that's the one place where I'll be like, yeah, it's a little rigged. Don't worry about it.
We should have got Derrick Rose.
Hey, listen, we shouldn't have got Derrick Rose. Hey,
we shouldn't have got Derrick Rose. What do you want me to do?
Oh,
hey,
man.
David did it for the Knicks. Might as well do it for us, too.
Might as well do it for us, too, man. Don't worry about it. Got a little bit of time left, so let's finish it out kind of on this, man. So the Bears are working out. I'm gonna probably end up moving this podcast around just to make so people stick around on this mug. We hit everything, but it's something Chicago. It ain't nothing going on, y'all. Y'all get what you get. It ain't nothing going on.
Brisker's holdout is part of the norm. It's nothing special. He's not
that's
even
not
really
normal.
Holding out yet.
That ain't normal for a rookie. We ain't had that since Roquan. I will say this: the last time we had somebody hold out, they turned out to be a really freaking good player. So I'm excited about it. I'm like, is he holding out because he gonna live up to it? Because Roquan held out for
finalize contractual things before he hits the field as he should. Let's wait until. Like right now, it's not the time to freak out. This is the business part of NFL. Let the business play out.
Well, I think
if
this is the thing,
persists,
right?
Then I'm gonna be worried. But I don't expect it to persist.
Well, this is the thing, right? Like you can't play a training camp till he gets here, or he can't play a training camp till he gets a contract done. Mm-hmm. So he's missing out on reps right away. We've seen guys
get the contract done.
Huh?
Then get the contract done. Hey, get the contract done. That's not. I really don't think when we're talking about contracts, we got to jump into this one thing, dog. Because the Bulls can go ahead and make a move for this dude. If you ask me, I don't care what you say.
I think
he look good with Bulls jersey.
They doing it for the third year.
They talking about his third.
Kid all over the place today.
They griping.
No, not all over the place. I said we talking about people in contracts.
Yeah.
There's a big name out there, in my opinion, in the NBA. Who just got handed or served a really ridiculous contract for his skill set. And if I'm AK, I'm looking at that situation like, hey, I could probably finesse this one because he's worth the money. Anyway, getting back to this Brisker guy on the Bears.
Oh, you talking about Colin Sexton?
Colin Sexton is a 25-5 player. They offered him a 3-year, $40 million deal. You got to be kidding.
Hey,
you got to be kidding me.
Hey,
listen, there is no market for him.
He's not a free agent though.
They got a lot of money going on.
He restricted, so they can match anything.
Side note,
yeah, they can, but you got to think. You got to think about it like this. Now that you've offered me this BS deal, it's the same thing with DeAndre Ayton and the Suns. There's a lot of.
Can I make a side note real quick? Whatever.
This whole show's a side note.
Whatever cameras that Apple TV has.
They are amazing.
Everything.
They are amazing. I give you that.
They had the Cubs on Apple TV, and
it was gorgeous.
And the best thing with every at bat in a corner, they had the probability of the batter getting hit.
We're talking about contracts. At least I was on point.
But you were talking about contracts, and it sparked in my head. the NBA is getting a lot of money because obviously everybody's getting an extension on these rookie deals,
What
right?
does that have to do with the Bulls?
But my thing is, Apple TV, what's up? Let me get that camera because that's.
Oh my God, AD! Hey, listen. We have to not
give up. I didn't give up at this point, y'all.
What were we talking about? What?
Hey, we done lost half the viewership. It don't matter.
I know. Every time you say that, it'd be a popping show.
Or we gained an entirely new product of viewers that just enjoy chaos. Yeah, I mean, it's either way.
Every time you say that, we gain followers.
I know. That's why I keep saying it.
The show gets popping. Like, dude, anyway, we're getting back to this topic here because it's an important thing. Y'all don't understand. We can make some moves here because this guy is worth it. I know he's coming off an injury. It's 25-5. Come on, you got to see the potential here.
The problem with it is it depends on the contract you offer him. I mean, listen, if he's not going to take 3 for $40 and you offer him like 4 for $60, like I don't know what. One, the Bulls got to have some money to do something with. You got to have a trade piece to be in place. There's a bunch of things. No, he's restricted, I think. So there's a bunch of things that would be in place that would have to get done. But the problem is that you just moved one piece that was on that team over and the whole team changed.
That's because they was playing Garland and Sexton at the same time. And you can't do that.
Yeah, but Sexton also Sexton, well, they did draft him. They drafted him a year apart. But even with that, right, like
you drafted his replacement. You didn't draft somebody to go with him.
No, you didn't. You drafted him. They drafted Darius Garland a year after they drafted Colin Sexton. That was supposed to be a backcourt for 10 years. Which I knew wasn't going to be because I was like, you just drafted the same dude and you're going to ask one of them to play 2 guard. Right. But
he's a restricted free agent.
He's restricted, so they can match any deal, which they probably will, right? Here's the thing. So with that, they have to throw an offer out there for you to go out and find a better offer. So this is probably they offer saying that you can get this or you can go out and find a better offer. He'll probably find a better offer somewhere else. They'll probably try and match it, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean.
He's expected. He's a $20 million a year player. He really is. And the one thing I noticed,
I don't think he should be on that team, though.
Hey, if I'm the Bulls, the one thing that Colin does for us that we were largely missing at times was tenacity and scoring skill set. He is an aggressive guard. He has that type of grit is very well received.
Can he shoot?
Who's really after him right now?
Nobody.
The Lakers.
Nobody. That's why.
No Lakers.
With no market,
Lakers
that's why I said we should be here.
Lakers was looking. Can he?
Lakers are definitely looking.
Can he shoot? I don't think Colin can shoot. Can he? I'm not gonna act like I watched a ton of tape on Colin Sexton.
I've watched some tape on him. He's a 45% from Will. Hold on. 45% his last season. He's 47% the season before and 47% but the season before that. I've always looked at him as Kyrie's replacement. I think he had that potential. I don't think he's as good yet, but I think he brings that to the table. 47% from the field. He was nearly 40% from 3. He shoots 30. He can shoot.
He can shoot. I'm not mad at Colin Sexton. I just don't know. See, there's certain players, right, that are dogs, but then it's like, how do you put a team around them? How do you build a team around them? Can they play on a team with other dudes that also have ability? Because I didn't know Darius Garland had ability like he has until he got hurt. Like, Darius Garland is a way better player than I ever would have thought. And you never would have seen that if Colin Sexton was healthy.
You know what? I will say this. He made the leap his sophomore season. He went from 12 points a game to 17 points a game. And I watched Cleveland because I felt like Cleveland did a good job kind of retooling after, LeBron leaving in 2018. And I've always been impressed that's how they've been able to do that. When LeBron left, you got to think about who's walked through their facility since LeBron left the first time. They got Kyrie, They end up getting LeBron back. They get all these players there. And they still somewhat have a competitive team through some very savvy like trades and stuff like that. They were the one people who wasn't completely decimated the second time he left. And that was it. Just very interesting to me because they lost 2 stars. They lost Kyrie and they lost LeBron. But look at them. They were a top 5-6 seed in the East before some key injuries. So like, you know, they've done well in rebounding. So I've kind of looked at that team. I've always looked at them and I've always been wondering like, what the heck is going on over there? And so I saw them. I just didn't think it would work because I didn't think the Dame and CJ thing worked. Like I liked it. I liked their relationship and stuff like that. But for some odd reason, I didn't like them together.
Dame and CJ worked. Like Darius Garland, like it didn't win a championship, but they both was able to average 20 plus points a game. Darius Garland was like a 10, 11 point a game guy next to Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton was getting 20 plus.
His sophomore season, he averaged 17 points a game.
His sophomore season? Ain't this his? It wasn't last season, his sophomore season?
Last season was his junior season, if we're going to say it like that.
True.
And for the record, yeah, CJ averaged 20, but
oh yeah, last year was year 3. Oh, he didn't play it. That's true. Yeah, he was hurt. He was hurt. I forgot about that.
On the right side. No, I was just saying that the 2 guard setup like that. Well, we've seen Dame and CJ go further, and they've gone pretty far.
Yeah,
I just think that situation would be as great, and I've seen that and said that several times. I think those 2 players shine in their own role.
Yeah,
where they don't necessarily have to share that, and you can build. It's easier to build around one than it is both of them to accommodate.
Nah, you rarely see a two dudes that play the same position or close enough to the same position be successful. Because you end up in the fourth quarter or whatever trying to figure out, all right, who's gonna get the ball, who's got the ball now, who's making it. Yeah, I mean, so like you end up like the ball is going to Dame in that situation, but also right like CJ's got an open look, and it really Dame and CJ didn't work because neither of them would be healthy enough going into them playoff runs. But that's a whole different situation in itself. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't see Darius Garland working. And I mean, even 17 a game to 21 a game. Yeah, that's a step, but it ain't as big a jump as I thought it was.
Well, you got contact. I mean, situations matter. It's not just Darius Garland. It's Darius Garland with Evan Mobley. Is Mobley on there? Evan Mobley, Allen, Jared Allen.
But it was Colin Sexton with them mugs.
He didn't have Mobley. He didn't play with. He's never played with Mobley.
No, because Mobley was a rookie this year. But he had Jared Allen. Did they get Larry this year? No, they got Larry. Yeah, they got Larry this year. So Larry Markkinen was there.
Sexton was gone for the whole season, so we really never got a chance to see them together.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speak to what wasn't there, and I don't think that's his fault. But Colin Sexton is a bucket. Like Colin Sexton was getting double teamed when he was healthy, multiple games because he was cooking so much. So I mean, for him to be getting such a low offer just goes to show you, God, like, and there's no market for him. Like, nah, somebody needs to go get that man, throw him a bag. Because
that could also tell you that they know something we don't.
Potentially. Potentially.
Yeah, I mean that's what that is to me. Nah, but yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was trying to figure that out. Let's see.
He played 11 games.
Colin Sexton in 116 games with Darius Garland has averaged 14 points a game, 5 assists, 2.1 rebounds. Now, granted, that's also taken into account his rookie season, but
you said Colin Sexton did what?
Colin Sexton Darius Garland with Colin Sexton has averaged 14 points a game. Now, that's also taking into account his rookie season, figuring out the NBA and all that. He's only been in the league 3 years, so you can extrapolate those numbers however you want, right? But it's just looking at him. It's one of them situations, right, where it's like Kawhi and PG. We look at it, and it's like, this don't look like it should work together. When you see him on the court at the same time, you like, it's Kawhi Leonard, it's Paul George. But then you actually see the game on the court, and you like, Why is this not working? This ain't
The only issue I have with Sexton is he's an undersized 2. It's the same issue you're going to have with Donovan Mitchell when you move him if he goes to New York with Jalen Brunson. He's an undersized 2. He is a 2 guard.
How tall is he?
Like Colin Sexton's game is you about to get these buckets. He ain't killing you with assists. He ain't killing you with rebounds. He's a 6. He's barely taller than us. He is a 6'1" bucket getter.
Yeah.
That's it. And so all I'm saying is if you're a team who needs someone to have that mentality, get you buckets right now. And there's some teams out there that need it. LA is one of them. So we'll see what happens with that. Man, the Bulls are one of them. Like, to be honest with you, scoring was never our issue, but our second unit ain't got bucket getters like that who could be the game changers. Now, whether he would accept that role or not, I don't know.
Putting him on the second unit.
I can't see him coming back right now off of that injury and starting anywhere. No one's seen him.
I think it's a bunch of teams that if there was interest in him, and that's why I said, right, the fact that there's no interest in him tells me that there's probably more to the injury than we just seeing. Yeah, I mean, like John Wall was a highly coveted player around the NBA. We ain't seen him be John Wall in 6 years.
I will say this though, John Wall is coming in. He hopes he don't come off the bench, but
he coming off the bench.
He coming off the bench.
But Colin Sexton is what, 25? So that's a whole different situation to me right there, right?
He's going against Reddick Jackson, right? Who?
John Wall.
Reggie should get the starting job.
Right Reggie should get the starting job. I'm not. No matter who the mugs were, I'm not jeopardizing the relationship of my team to bring in a dude that I don't know if he can stay on the court.
The funny thing is, if I'm Sacramento, I go after him.
No,
because you got a point guard, you got a center.
They just got a 2 guard.
Who's a 2 guard?
Keegan Murray.
I'm going after Colin Sexton.
Nah.
So you said that like that was supposed to be a needle mover,
bro.
You said that like I was supposed to be like, oh my God, it's Keegan. Like, what are we doing?
They just drafted their 2 guard. Like, they not about to go pay $40 million for a dude so that they can bench the dude that they just drafted high in the draft.
I'm sorry, you went so high in the draft for somebody, but that's because you didn't know what Colin Sexton was going to do. And the guy,
I still don't know.
Let's be real. Let's be real. The Rook is cheap. Cheap. You take a risk like that when you ain't got to pay a lot of money for both players. I'll pay Colin Sexton $20 million a month. $20 million a year because he's worth $20 million a year.
I mean, I still don't know what Colin Sexton is going to be. Like, if there's this little interest in the NBA, it's more than what we think it is. He's 25-5, like you said. If there's this little interest around the NBA, you about to pay him what Lonzo Ball make.
To be clear, 24 and 4.5. But
even so,
he's an undersized.
You about to pay him what Lonzo Ball made? Are they about to pay him what Lonzo? Like, if he was 100% healthy, he's worth that money. But there's zero interest around the NBA. We heard a little bit about the Lakers, and at this point, the Lakers are a desperate team around the NBA. They just trying to find anybody that can replace Russell Westbrook because they don't believe in that situation. So
I would ship Russ out to the Cavs and take a L.
You wouldn't be able to. They would have to send you back enough money. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm just saying.
It's a situation where it sounds good, but like why is nobody around the NBA looking at him?
I think he's going to ultimately. The owners are taking back their league, and so and I respect it. I respect it. They're not going for a lot of stuff. And then Adam, as the diplomat that he is, he's really coming in and he's empowering players, but at the same time helping them appreciate that it's still a business.
Yeah.
And that you still have to perform, and that this is a mutual partnership. You can't just have all this power and everything is happening carte blanche for you. And I appreciate that, because the one thing I've never understood is when people say players have all the power, and they shouldn't. That's just not how it works. That's like saying I run a business, but my employees have all the power. They make all the decisions. They won't. They shouldn't. That ain't how that works. We can collaborate. We come together, but
they do.
That ain't how that works.
If you ain't got no employees, you ain't gonna have no business. But
okay, well, here's the reality of it. Somebody at the end of the day, there's always someone who cuts the check. There are very, 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 very few people whose employment or business isn't of service to something else that cuts them a check, which means that no matter what, when we enter a partnership, something has to be performed, work has to get done, and then payment is received. That's pretty much how it works. There's too many people who think they're bosses simply because they make a large number. There's a lot of zeros behind a couple of ones or fives or whatever, that think that they can have the power to make certain decisions just because of who they are. That's just not true. Like, as wealthy
with trades, I agree with it, right? Because you agreed to this deal and you know that you can get traded, and if you don't want to get traded, you need to be that level of player that you can negotiate an NTC in your deal. And if you want to give up those M's for an MTC, give up those M's for an NTC, right? Like, I don't know how Bradley Beal got all his M's and an NTC. That's a freaky. I don't think he's that good of a player. I think he's good enough to get them M's, but
I think it's only one player with an
I think they're
NTC now.
giving away no trade clauses like
Bradley Beal
more easily now.
It's only one player now.
I think there's two. Don't KD got one?
No, I don't think he does.
I thought KD had to clear any trade that went through. I thought he had an NTC, maybe not. But I know, listen, Bradley, I don't think Bradley Beal is the level of player to get that, but Washington basically said, we'll give you the state if or we'll give you the capital if you stick around. Yeah, I mean? And the fact that he won an NTC probably means he's gonna be there for a minute. But
yeah.
You got to give up money to get an MTC. That's why these ones don't have it. In baseball, you get them all the time. So, like, to me with that, right? Like,
let me not say nobody, not people of note, not a lot of people of note. Let me not say that way either, because that sounds bogus.
People of note,
but there's not a whole lot of big name players who don't have no trade clauses.
Who have no trade clauses?
Yeah, I don't think that's something.
I don't think so either. I think you're right on that. But right, like it's also because there's respect there, though, right? Like KD gave his list of teams, and Brooklyn tried to acquiesce to what he wanted.
I don't think Brooklyn really wanted to do that.
But he gave his list of teams, and the first team they called was Phoenix. Phoenix got a deal in play. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, that's.
And at 34,
it is what it is, right?
Know why.
But like when you talk about like being the boss and like, I love everybody's in a different position, and I think that's the thing. Like Muzz wanted to be even across the board, but really you don't, because the only time you want it to be even is for these star players, because nobody complains when Kent Bazemore gets traded to another team. Nobody complains when Kobe White gets traded to another team. He got to do the same thing you stars got to do. He got to do the same. He got to uproot his whole family, move them to whatever city they got to go to now. He got to find a spot to live. He got all that stuff. He got to do the same thing you stars got to do. It's only a problem when the team says it about Donovan Mitchell, because Donovan Mitchell's a star, right? And Donovan Mitchell said, I want to be here. Well, we trading you. But guess what? What's my man in Indiana right now?
Miles Turner?
No, from Sacramento.
Halliburton.
Oh, he wanted to stay in Sacramento. He said, I want to stay in Sacramento. Didn't nobody bat an eye.
That was crazy.
He was crying. He was crying. Nobody batted an eye.
I really like him.
I do too. But nobody batted an eye when he got traded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but if Donovan Mitchell would ask for a trade, yes, it's a different situation altogether. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's why like the whole the boss and it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a business at the end of the day. That's why I don't trip on Jaquan Brisker asking for his deal.
I don't know why that's a thing though, because it's not as if,
because he's a rookie and he ain't did nothing yet.
they're using the word holdout too soon. And then they're only applying it to one side of the equation.
It's a holdout.
They're only applying it to one side of the equation. A deal didn't get done. It's two parts of the deal. The organization ain't finalized they have. And the agent has told his client, no, don't take that deal. Get what you're worth. Hey, that's the makings of good business, right? So like, hey, you can't blame. You know what really made me look at that? The Jamarcus Russell incident. Jamarcus Russell talks about how they said he held out. He's like, I wasn't trying to hold out. They ain't get my deal done.
Right.
He just recently did a show and he talked about like some of the stuff he went through. And I think some of it was cap. But like he mentioned, being the holdout.
That's a poor example as well.
It's shaping the narrative though.
Hey,
he's not the best example to use because he has
tough. They said they knew immediately after they drafted him they messed up. Can you imagine that, bro? You go through all the draft breakdown in the world. And 1 week after you drafted, 1 month after you drafted him, that he was the wrong pick.
It's crazy, bro.
I don't know. I wasn't a huge football fan at the time, so I can't really.
So basically,
everything was revisionist for me. It's like so I know about it now. Yeah. I've gone back and I saw him give his side, and I looked at what was presented then, and I kind of compared it to because the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Oh no, Jamarcus agreed with what they said. When they sent him the DVD, you heard that story?
Yeah, no, he said he didn't look at it because no one was communicating with him. You gotta look at his thing.
Hey, that boy lied. They sent him the DVD of plays and said, look over this and let us know what plays you like and what plays you don't like. Wasn't nothing on the DVD.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they called Jamarcus and said, hey, so what plays do you like? What plays don't you like? Jamarcus listed all these plays that he was watching tape on that wasn't on the tape. Hey, that's lying. That's called cap in 2022, my boy. So, that's I don't know, man. I'm not. For me, with it is a holdout and it is about not getting the deal done, and it's on both sides, right? But it's also, if you're that level of player, fine. And guess what? Roquan Smith held out in 2018. We do not care. You know what we worried about now? Hey, Roquan, let's get this deal done now.
Right.
Let's get this deal done for next year to keep you here long term. That's what Bears fans are worried about now. Yeah, I mean, so Jaquan Brisker holding out doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like, I think it's going to get done. I will say it puts him behind the 8 ball. Roquan got off to a little bit slow of a start. He ended up becoming a fine player, but he just, he was a little bit out of position sometimes, and you got to work your way into the lineup. All right, listen, Jaquan Brisker might have to do the same thing. You missing out on training camp, that's an important time to be in football. It's a very important time to be on the field.
Yeah.
So he's going to miss out on, and by the way, not only that, right, but like, you're not a vet that's been in the NFL for 4 years that's already been in a 4-3 and understands where you need to be on the field and understand how this defense works. Now, he's probably played a similar style of football his whole life, but also this is the NFL, my boy. This ain't Penn State.
Right, you got to get in with the big dog.
I absolutely don't care. Make sure your deal is right. Make sure your money is right. Hey. All of that stuff that we're talking about, honestly, it does not matter.
This is the thing, though. You just got to be that level of player because you can get your deal as right as you want in the NFL. They can cut you and pay you your guaranteed, and that's it.
Well, again, I respect that too. But you can't sit there and say, well, you need these reps and stuff like that. Well, if you know I need these reps so soon, you know that this is important, I'm willing to show up. But I can't show up without my deal.
Yeah,
guess what?
But
seems like we got to come to an agreement on my deal. That's what it seems like we got to come to. Now, mind you, the reports of what ultimately led to this holdout and all the particulars are going to come out after the fact. And so this is something we're going to have to
That's about the third year money.
We're going to have to revisit this period. Yeah, but like let's make sure that when we do revisit it, that we do so appropriately, because it's going to and it has been kind of positioned as if this is a bad sign from a young kid, this, that, and the other, as
No, I
opposed
don't view
to
it as
this is a kid trying to take care of his financial future and making sure he's getting what he's due and what's fair. And so let's have it both ways. Let's not sit there and say, well, he needs to be no. First and foremost, he needs to make sure that things are being done in a fair and appropriate way.
Well, I mean, listen, that's fine, but just be good enough to back it up. I don't care if you hold out for your deal at all. No. That's absolutely important because, kid.
No, it's not. That does not matter for this negotiation. This deal is done before he hits the field.
This ain't the NBA. They don't have to buy you out. You can agree to whatever number you want. Outside of that guaranteed money, you will not get your money.
That's cool. We don't know what that number is right now. However, this negotiation takes place before he can touch the field.
Right.
So it does not matter. So what I'm saying is it does not matter. Right now, the only impediment to him getting better right now, being with the team right now, is this situation right here. Who's to say that his agent isn't negotiating a fair or sizable guaranteed contract? Who's to say that's not happening? But all that matters, nothing else matters right now. The order of operation when it comes to this situation is this deal has to get done. And I have not heard anyone from his camp or anyone report that his camp is doing anything out of the norm. But what's happening is not you, but a couple other people are talking is around it because Chicago is an easy target to talk bad about. Are sitting there saying, well, this is a bad sign. Was this a mistake? This, that, and the other. No, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Don't create narratives based off something that you have no idea that you're gonna sit there and shift later. Ain't nobody gonna care.
No, facts. And I agree with you on that. But my thing is, I don't care what you negotiate for. Take as much time as you want. Roquan missed a game, if I'm not mistaken. I think Roquan missed a preseason game or something like Roquan missed legit time.
Yeah.
But guess what? Roquan Smith is a great football player.
Right back in, ready to
That also sounds like bad management.
I don't care about none of that. If you're a great football player, I got nothing to say.
Yeah.
So, like, get your money, talk it all, but you know what I'm saying? Like, be good enough for you to get your money.
Right.
Because if we get to year 3 and you got all this you got all this money that's supposed to be in that year for you, and it's gonna hit and blah blah blah. Now I'm going into year 2. Now you speeding up the clock. Now I'm going into year 2 thinking, man, if we get to year 3 and we hit this date, we have to pay him this money. He not that good. We got to cut him before this date, or we got to move him. Right. So you speeding up your timeline. All I'm saying is back it up. You can ask them for $100 million year 3.
$50 million.
It's all performance based.
Oh yeah,
it's all performance based.
Oh yeah.
However, we're not going to start off on the wrong foot. Let's not start off on the wrong foot. So if this is a second player that you're saying has held out within recent history, that sounds like bad management. That's what that sounds like. That don't sound like a good organization.
It's the second player that's held out since 2018. That's 6 years.
4
years, yeah.
So
what position is he?
And it's a whole new regime. This ain't the same management.
And they both so happen to be defensive players. Go check that out.
What position is he?
He's a strong safety, but it's not even the same management group.
Hey, look,
who's managing him?
Ryan,
you know?
Hey, listen. I understand Ryan has tried to do some stuff. He's trying to draft low. We're giving him leeway to set up for next year and stuff like that. But guess what? This is also a very critical year for you too. I don't care what nobody says. This is a critical year for him too.
Nah, not year 1.
Hey, the way that he's gone about it.
But you know what? I got it, and it's tough to say because of a lot of the things that have come out, but a lot of the names that we was like mad at him for not getting. Remember, we all wanted him to go get John Mechie.
I didn't know much about John Mechie for me.
But he was one of the better wide receivers. It was like, how'd you miss out on this? That was a guy you could have went and got. John Mechie dealing with some health issues. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad to say, but like, he's dealing with some health issues. Like I think he got diagnosed with leukemia.
The Texans.
Yeah. Dude, buddy from the Texans. Yep. So like that was a guy where we was like, yo, you got to go get him. Blah blah blah. so like that's why I say, right, like we can make these hard statements and we can make this is what you should have done. This is how you got to get it done. You missed on this. You missed on that. You could have got this. And we don't know what's really happening behind the scenes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like even with Sexton, with a lot of them, and then all of a sudden the news come out and it's, oh, I can't believe that this happened. What a great top of the line move by it. And so like, that's why I'm always like, man, we don't know what's going, like you said, we don't know what's going on with the deal. It could be the Bears lowballing them. It could be them highballing. But at the end of the day, can you play? Can you get it done on the field? Can you get your money? If you can get your money, I don't care that Roquan Smith held out in 2018. Do y'all?
No.
Hey, listen. When they said that Brisker was holding out, I knew we had a holdout. I had to go back and figure out who it was. I don't care. Can you play football? Can you be on the field? Can you get the job done? That's all that matters, man. That's pretty much it, man. We got to kind of roll on this mug, man. We've been all over the place today. I don't know what the heck I'm going to title this video.
Hey, it's a good show, man.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
They don't sound no different than Collins and all of them because they be all over the place.
They be a little structured. But hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us as always, man. Got Mr. Two Letters in the building. If you knew better, you do better. Say who better? Nobody, bro. And of course, the pettiest man alive, Mr. P Kid. I am your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. As always, man, to continue watching our Chicago sports content, click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.